Call the meeting to order. Geneva Town Council meetings are now live streamed and recorded. Your participation in the meeting is your consent to the recording and rebroadcasting of the meeting on the town's YouTube channel. We'll all stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Let the record show that all council members, the town attorney, the clerk, and the deputy clerk are in attendance.
No, they aren't.
No.
Oh, excuse me, Stan's not here. He had to work tonight. My mistake. Correction. I'd like to welcome the guests. Approval of the minutes from two meetings on September 9th and also on October 11th. Which was last Saturday. Should have the meetings in your packet, or the minutes in your packets, or they were sent to you electronically.
Electronically.
If there are no additions or corrections, would entertain a motion to approve.
Both are separate.
Both, let's do both.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on council? If not, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. 2026 budget hearing. Tonight we can adopt, but before we do, I'd like to open it up for public comments, public hearing. So we're officially open as a public hearing. Are there any comments from the people in the gallery? Second call, are there any comments from people in the gallery? Third and final call, are there any comments from people in the gallery? Not, then the public meeting is closed. Are there any additional comments from council? Excuse me. If not, then I'll entertain a motion to adopt the budget for 2026 as presented.
So moved.
Have a statement. Harlan, second. Harlan, did I hear you second? Yes. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the question. All in favor of approving our budget for 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Bids for the sewer project. Open the bids tonight.
Looks like we have one bid from Ish Excavating LLC. Like there's a bid bond here. Everything looks in order. Looks like the bid is for the sum of $105,000. Pardon me again. $105,840. The way it's presented on here threw me off a little bit. So $105,840.
Performance bond and everything. is
Bid
in
bonds there. Now with this being tied to the sewer project, maybe best, the council will have to discuss this, maybe best for Ryan to take a look at it first, take it under advisement.
Talked to Ryan today, and that's what he would prefer that we do.
Yeah, give Ryan a chance to take a look at it, make sure everything's in order.
And I asked a question, does anybody have the numbers? We said how much was left over. Are we within that range?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Do you remember what that number was?
Just short of 200,000, if I remember
Was it?
correctly.
I thought it was over 105, but I
Yeah,
just thought I'd ask.
it's a significant amount. And a lot of that was due primarily because things like in the Hardy Edition, there's a large section of pipe they didn't have to replace. There were some other areas like that they didn't have to do, so that kind of brought the number down. I have a motion to take this under consideration, to accept and take it under, excuse me, just to take it under consideration.
We need a motion to
Yes.
do that?
And-
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of taking this under consideration, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Tina, Ryan would like you to send him all that information, either fax it or whatever, so he can look it over, make a recommendation, and then we can make a final decision at the November meeting. Okay. I see we have no citizen comments. Monthly department reports, police, Dwayne. If you would, please.
You should have received all for the normal monthly report. One thing that, in the notes that we need approval is, I know there's been some discussion about it, is updating our creator point devices. The creator point devices are the modem that's in our vehicles so that we can transfer data, utilize our CAD system in the car. These are through AT&T, who is our supplier for cell phones and so forth already, to replace the four in the vehicles, just because ours are outdated, they're old, and they don't meet the new standards that everything's switching and upgrading to, is around $33.80 was the quote that AT&T says. So it's going to be in that neighborhood. There wasn't any anticipation from when he quoted that till now, but they may have went up a couple dollars here or there. But it's going to be in that neighborhood. That would come out of our equipment fund, which we've got the finances in there to take care of that. But because it exceeds my limit, I just need authorization to proceed with that.
Questions, council, on allowing Dwayne to speak?
I make a motion, we give you permission to go ahead and get the creator point devices you need for that amount from your equipment.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for the question. All in favor of approving Dwayne's request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Other than that, I know there was some discussion, concerns as far as voice of the council about potentially wanting a stop sign on High Street or, and also the excessive speed on High Street between mainly between Pyle Street and 27. So the departments went down there, we recorded 122 vehicles. Out of that 122 vehicles, there was only 12 of them that exceeded the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on that street. The highest recorded speed, which was, I believe, was only one vehicle, was only at 35. So we've got complaints, though they're doing every bit of 50. They're flying down there. Over the past few weeks at different times throughout the day. Like I said, the fastest speed is 35, so we can't substantiate those claims of people going at least 50 that they're flying down the street. I know that a lot of times vehicles look like they're going a lot faster, but we weren't able to substantiate that. I know that there was one citizen that wanted a stop sign put up Bradford and High Street to slow the vehicles down, but we're not finding that excessive speed that was claimed, that was voiced as a concern. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we did go down there, we did look at it, and that's what our findings were.
So we don't think any further action at this time is warranted?
I don't think so. We'll continue to monitor it. We've had a couple other places in town where we've had concerns that we're just not able to substantiate those concerns and what they're telling us. Other than that, we started with our IPEP recommendations when they came in earlier this year, getting things set for the safety committee. The clerk, myself, and Trent set on an organizational call with the IPEP, our IPEP rep for safety. So that was one of their recommendations, strong recommendations to get in place quickly. So we've got that going, and then we've got the class on Saturday for traffic incident management. Any other questions?
Stan asked me to pass on his concerns about this traffic incident management crisis. He would encourage all council members, or not all council, all town employees to attend that also. He would like to see it mandatory. I think it's training. I plan on being there. Anybody else in council would like to be there is more than welcome. It starts at 8 o'clock. We'll be upstairs.
8 to noon upstairs.
Okay.
Well, we would have coffee and donuts.
Oh, wow.
So maybe even some handouts, some freebies. So it's a free class. You guys got the flyer. You can scan the QR code if you have any issues with that. Or it's not working for you and you want to attend, let me know. I can sign it for it also.
Council, what do you think, that we should make it mandatory training for our employees because they could be involved in some of this or not? I know that was one of
Can
Stan's
we do that?
concerns.
I don't know. Can we do that, make it mandatory? We can.
During usual hours, correct?
I'm
Is
sorry.
it 8 to
No,
noon?
it's on Saturday.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's other options there. There's our classes up here. There's a class in the evening in Decatur. They can also take a 4-hour online course, which Tony can attest to the 4 hours online. It's pretty exciting to sit there and do it online. So
Do the in-person.
Do the in-person.
so there's a couple options. There's some others in the area. This is just convenient.
I'm fine with asking our guys to do it. I just don't know legally. Can we
Mandatory?
make it mandatory?
Probably not. Be asking them to work overtime.
Highly encouraged.
Like I said, there's other options also besides ours. If in fact at some point down the road, I agree. I think it's a good class to have. Like I said, in the state of Indiana, anybody that holds an EMS certification at any level in this recertification cycle is mandated to have the course. The state's already said that if you don't have the course and you submit your EMT, advanced EMT, EMR, paramedic certification, that they will not recertify without that. So I think we're going to see that mandated come down at the state level at some point.
Lynn, if we feel it's really important, is the council willing to pay overtime for them to come Saturday?
I'd be willing to do that.
So the council might be able to say, hey, we're going to pay
Yeah.
the overtime. We really want it to be required.
One of the advantages I see to it is if employees are out doing some kind of project on the streets or on the highway, and there's an incident, there's a traffic accident right there, they're right there on site. They can help with traffic control or whatever might need to be done to help facilitate that. And I'd be willing to pay the overtime. Brent, would you attend if you got overtime? I know you don't get overtime, but
Trent and I are both on overtime Saturday. The other thing that it does is not just, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just not for auto accidents and so forth. It talks about setting up safe work zones or
Right, yeah.
if you're, for digging along the highway. If there's other incidents or actions that are taken along the highway that it.
I think it would be very, very beneficial to you.
yeah. Brent, do you see the
Yeah,
need for
absolutely.
this?
Yeah, I've been to one of these classes before in the past, so, yeah, I see benefits to it. I think it's a good idea.
So do I have a motion to make it mandatory, paying them overtime?
Being required.
Yeah. Required training? We're talking for.
Well, required, no, but if you're willing to pay overtime,
Yeah.
yeah, the option.
I mean, that's if they choose,
Right,
if they choose to do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
we can pay overtime, right?
Yeah. Make it a choice, but if they do attend, they will be paid overtime. How's that sound? All in
But that is
favor?
that is if they only work 20 hours a week,
Right.
they get them into overtime.
Yeah.
But if it takes them into overtime, then we will pay that.
Yeah.
I believe that's all I've got unless somebody else has any other questions.
All right, we'll just make that highly recommended for council. With the understanding they would be paid overtime.
And like I said, I'll get with Trent, I'll make sure that he has the flyers for the Geneva class, the Decatur class, and like I said, some point they can, like I said, make it online also.
Okay.
It's just not gonna be as exciting as doing it in person.
Thanks.
Fire department, Mark.
Yep. Part of my attire tonight, I just got done getting our fire hose tested today. Just completed that about literally 10 minutes before the meeting. So I was out there moving 5,000 feet of hose with the contractor that we contracted to do that with. Happy to report out of 5,000 feet of hose, only 200 feet is damaged to the point where it can't be repaired, so I'll be replacing the 200 feet of hose. Unfortunately, the cost of 200 feet of hose is going to be about $500. So it's not cheap. So other than that, everybody has my council report. I don't have anything else to add. If you have any questions for me, it's time.
Later on in the meeting, under old business, we'll be discussing the fire trucks. So
Correct.
this time I don't have any questions. Anybody else?
Chili supper?
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me. Also, this month we have our annual chili supper. It's in conjunction with the trick or treat night downtown with a parade to follow us October 25th. Dinner will start at 4 o'clock and the parade lineup is 6:30 and the parade will be at 7 with children's costume judging and prizes after the parade.
You're going to need some street closure for that?
Yes, if we can close Line Street from Railroad to Washington Street at 7 o'clock, roughly takes about 45 minutes to get the parade and the costume judging done. So at that time, we will, after the parade continues, we will move it from Railroad to High Street.
Street closing though, because we have trick or treat night.
Yeah, it already closed technically.
Crowd, what time are they starting trick or treat? Do you know? Is it like 4 o'clock? Did they talk about it Monday? 5? Okay. So we probably need the street closed before 5. So the kids will be walking up and down getting candy and treats.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
4? Close it at 4. He's saying close it at 4. Street
4
closed.
till when?
4 to, let's call it 8, just to make numbers easy. It'll be open before 8, I guarantee it, but unless we have 300 children show up, which would be great, love to see that. But we're averaging around 60 to 80 kids a year lately, so pretty good turnout for community size.
And you'll be selling chili from,
Yeah, usually from 4 to 7. Last couple of years, we've been blessed that we've actually ran out. I know there's some people that are a little discouraged by that, but we try to build a whole extra roaster every year to cover the extra, and gladly we get more people showing up. So this year potentially will be the largest amount of chili that we produced with 8 roasters, and in the years past, usually 7 was enough that we usually have 2 roasters left over. So glad to see the attendance continue to grow as we have a community involvement event with Geneva Crown housing the trick or treat night all on campus in one night. Seems to be a great thing for the community. So.
That is donation.
Yeah, and the chili supper is donation, free will. So. Other than that, I believe that is all I have. Thank you for
do we have a motion to approve the request to close Line Street from Railroad to Washington? During the hours mentioned? Harlan and Andrew? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Utilities.
I haven't received an update on hydrants yet. I have a message out to Brad. He should be in tomorrow to give me something, but he hasn't been able to get a hold of the Mueller rep. I don't know if he's on vacation or what, but they were supposed to be here last Wednesday and they haven't showed up yet. So I'm not sure. I know they're very busy down there. Hydrant flushing is going pretty well. I'd say we're about a little over halfway through these 2 days, so we should be finishing up late Thursday or early Friday morning. Everything's going pretty good with that. The only another issue we're having is with the one truck we have. We're having the one that Cody's driving, he's having some issues that it keeps dying on him. He'll be going down the road and the dumb thing will just die. We've had it worked on several times, and there's wiring harness that connects to the PCM, and that wiring harness is broken in there. They have it kind of zip tied in place right now, trying to hold it in place to keep it going as much as we can. But we need to do something with that truck soon.
Are there any broken wires in that harness that you know of?
No, there's no broken wires. It's all in that connection.
So it's
And
in the connector itself?
in order to fix that, you'd have to replace the whole wiring harness.
So it's in the connector itself?
You have an idea what that might cost
So to fix the wiring harness,
to do what, to make it work?
I would say you're probably looking at close to 10,000. Because you gotta pull the whole cab and everything off there to
Oh,
get to
my,
everything.
okay.
And you've got a couple tests out, we're trying to find a 1-ton chassis
Right.
with a 60-inch bed?
Yes,
or frame?
60-inch cabinet axle, yes. So we can put the bed that we have off that truck onto the new truck. But I haven't had any luck finding anything really, affordable. Most of them's been around $50,000 to $60,000 range.
That's new?
And that's even used. I found a couple that was even used that was because they're not the 60-inch cabinet axle, they would have to cut them down and make them fit that. So
Be an additional cost.
right.
Now let's keep looking.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep looking.
So what are you trying to, what part of that truck is you need to save? Is it equipment-wise on the bed?
We was gonna save the bed with it has the crane on it.
Okay.
We was gonna save that.
The only thing you might, maybe, if you happen to find another truck that's got all that on it,
Yes, that would be fine too.
you better, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's issues with that crane too. It don't work half the time. And that's another wiring issue. But it's been that way since we've had it. But, we make it work when we have to. But
I know when pack season will be over, have we
pack
checked?
season's coming to an end. It should be over here shortly, I would think. I haven't seen many trucks come in here. That's something we'll be getting scheduled to. We'll be getting that water line scheduled to be put in probably towards the end of this month. We'll do that.
We'll have that on all the hydrants all at one time.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of how I thought it might be. I actually thought the hydrants would be here before, but that hasn't worked out.
Have they given any reasons why?
Mueller is so far behind because there's lots of people apparently putting new hydrants in. He said they have orders of hundreds. Their factory's behind. They're having a hard time getting them out fast enough.
That's a good thing to have for job security.
Yeah, yes. Leaf pickup is still on hold because we have the starter issue we're having with the engine there. We have that scheduled to go in Thursday to try and get the bolt out that was broken off. And
Who's going to do that?
Jerry Cobbs with G's on it. He's going to work on it. I had him down to the shop looking at it yesterday. I've been trying to work on it the last couple of days in between when I had time, and I haven't been able to budge it yet. So.
Fortunately, not that many leaves have fallen, but there are some that are
Right.
starting.
Right.
Anything else?
Nope.
Council questions? Thank you. New business. Dog park, splash pad, and Cardinal Park entryway. Bill Warren, please.
First of all, let me thank council for the opportunity to address them tonight. My name is Bill Warren. I'm with the Geneva Redevelopment Commission. One of the projects we embarked on this year at Cardinal Park was putting up an entranceway sign. If you look in your packet, you'll have a GIS drawing that shows you the location of where we want to put that entranceway. When you're down at the park and look at it, it's all grass. So we put it at the northeast corner of the grass. Unfortunately, when Marquee Builder went to pull a permit, they couldn't get it because it's a platted, unimproved easement for 6th Street. Moving that entranceway's not really feasible. If you look at the second page, you'll see where we put in a walkway. We put in 1,850 plus feet of paved walkway out there. And if we move the entranceway, it's not going to be on the walkway. So what I'm needing, so that Marquis can start building, is to approve a variance that allows us to build in that platted street. If you also look at the map, you'll see there's playground equipment in that street. There's a storage building down by the concession stand. So it's not like it's planned to be a street anytime soon.
And that goes clear back to I think the old Alexander Buffalo days. That was plotted before Geneva was even incorporated.
Could be, but in the back of my mind, I probably knew somewhere that that was a street. But when you're standing down there, it looks like a park. So if you guys would consider that. I also have two other things that aren't as urgent. We, as a group, have a list of projects we could undertake. Some of them come from ourselves, some of them come from community members. We've had two requests that we think council needs to have input on before we just embark on them, primarily because there's some liability issues and there'll be some maintenance issues. That is a splash pad and a dog park. Let me say before we go any farther, even if council gives the approval and says, yeah, you can do it, that does not mean we're going to do it. The cost may be out of what we can afford. It may not be a priority for other things. But before we invest a lot of time in seeing what it's going to cost and what we have to do, we thought we'd come to council. Dog park, big liability issues. I personally have concerns. I know people don't pick up after their dog on streets and sidewalks. I'm not sure how well they would do in a dog park. And then you have the issue of good dogs bite other dogs and bite people. It's on town property. I'm sure at some point there's going to be a lawsuit against the town. That's the bad thing. The good things would be an enclosed area for people to run their dogs. Splash pad, again, liability issues, and even more importantly, maintenance issues long term. I talked to Dave Bumgardner. He told me that currently the Burns Splash Pad spends about $2,000 in water every month. They do not recycle that water because it costs more to clean it up and reuse it, so it's always fresh water. For the next 15 years or so, while the redevelopment commission can be in existence, we would cover that cost and any maintenance. After that point, however, it turns it all back over to the town. So we think in both those cases, council needs to have some discussion and decide whether they want to go ahead with it. To me, a splash pad would be kind of a statement for the town and the park. It would help attract possibly younger homeowners because it's an attraction. One in Bern gets used. I'm sure the one here would get used. So, any questions on those three items?
Did you ask the attorney about the liability for the splash pad? We'd probably have to have extra insurance for that.
I did not ask him that, but
That would be the biggest thing, is just getting it insured. I'm on the CDC board that handles the clock tower and the splash pad down there. That's the biggest thing. We've had a few insurance claims. Kids got hurt, nothing crazy.
Well, it's a wet service.
It's a wet service, yeah.
Oh.
That's the biggest thing, is just paying for the insurance, the additional insurance. And of course, the water cost during the
And
summer
who's
months.
going to clean it?
And there's always something that goes wrong,
we
there's
could,
valves and all
that water actually is gray water. We could drain it right to the wetlands.
No, I mean as far as like keeping it clean.
I don't.
Sure, yeah, we have to get it pressure washed every so often, that kind of thing. It gets mildewy or.
So there's going to be maintenance costs.
Yeah,
like I
so it'd be
said.
ongoing maintenance.
If we investigate and decide we're going to do it, we'll cover that cost for the next 15 years, but then it gets turned over to the town. One point I would make that will be in the town's favor, right now, we collect all the tax dollars on the TIF district. 15 years when we go away, those tax dollars come available to the town again.
We got sidewalks need replaced, we got lots of things. Yeah,
I'm just putting it out there,
right.
to get council's thing. I do need the entranceway, a decision tonight. The other two, if you want to think about for a little while before you decide, that's okay.
Why don't we do this, we'll introduce the resolution right now and consider that. And then if we want to have some discussion, a little more discussion about the dog pad and the splash pad, after that, we can do that. Okay. I have before me a resolution 2025-1. And the short title is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Geneva granting consent for the construction of an entranceway sign, pavilion, and walkways at the Cardinal Park and within the adjacent plotted 6th Street right-of-way. Just a couple of notes in the whereases. Because it is an old right-of-way that, like I say, goes way back to the Buffalo Alexander days. And as a historical perspective on that, if anybody wonders why 4th Street is on the south end of town and 6th Street is more towards the middle, it's because at that time that's the way they plotted it. When they combined the two into Geneva, then it still stays the same. Do I have a motion to introduce this resolution?
I make a motion to pass.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pass it the
Pass
same
the
night for
resolution.
resolutions.
To accept the resolution.
Just want to accept it, we don't have to have,
We don't need to introduce resolutions.
Okay.
You know, you can pass it the same night without waiving rules or anything
Okay.
special.
second. Okay, Agnes and Harlan. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the question. All in favor of passing resolution 2025-1, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Thank you very much. Do we want to have continued discussion tonight on the dog park and the splash pad, or do we want to table that till next month?
Well, I think there's probably lots of questions to get some answers to. In the past, do you think we should maybe go ask them those things? I know Decatur's got a dog park. Maybe we could ask some questions there? Or no?
I've already talked to them about
Okay.
the dog park, and you have to pay $30 a year to get access. It's a keypad to get into it. It's out by Woodcrest. It costs $30 a year to get it, and you have to provide the vaccinations and everything for your dog to use it. But are we going to police it, or how are we going to collect the $30?
Yeah.
They
And
do
if
it at
there
the
isn't-
Riverside Center.
Have they had incidences where?
I don't know. It was just I've
I'm
heard
just
people
wondering,
use
yeah,
it.
what some of
Yeah,
that.
I see
has
people out there
been.
using it, so they provide the bags.
What assurances do we have that combination keypad, whatever we use, won't get passed around? I think that's something that needs to be considered. I'm concerned about the liability more than anything else on the dog park. Splash pad, kind of like that idea.
I think we get it in the paper going forward and just see what comments from the public come back to us.
That we're thinking about it?
That we're thinking about it, and welcome any comments from, see where we go. We don't have to pass it tonight, because like Bill said, we can pass it, we might not do it, so, but we get the conversation started.
That sounds reasonable.
I think that's a good idea.
Maybe we can ask Decatur if they've had any claims.
Let's just do a little more investigation and we'll bring it up again in the November meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
Elevator phone system. That's right now the only thing holding us up from having that elevator certified. The system that's in there now is an antiquated analog system that at one time had a dedicated phone number to it. No one knows where that number is or what how it's hooked up or anything like that. It's been suggested that we go to a digital system, cell system. We've talked to a company that was recommended by, I'll find the notes here. It was recommended by Elevated. Tina and I had a conference call with them one day, and they sent us a brochure. I don't have copies for all the council tonight, but it was basically just short of $50 a month for them to put the system in, minus any additional wiring that might be made. We don't know what that might be, and $50 a month for a maintenance fee. I've asked Trent a little before the meeting tonight to talk to Hoosier Elevator, see what kind of deal they can come up with, and then we can discuss it at length at the November meeting and make a decision on it then. We've lived with it for almost a year, not working, and we can live another month. But it's something that has to be done, or the elevator cannot be certified. Use. So it's been fixed mechanically. We just need to get that information and make that decision. Moving on. Old business. Fire truck committee update.
Last month, the council had asked to create a committee to come back with a recommendation on the replacement of engine 511. So then the council could then vote on that recommendation. So we did meet a couple of weeks ago. The committee was Stan Ringer, Tina Booth, Mark Schock, and myself. So this committee was asked to discuss the best avenue to approach the purchase or replacement of engine 511. We had a report back in May that the fire chief had given us with the different cost of replacement, used, or new. So with those numbers, those rough numbers back in May, this has been in the fire department's 10-year plan. Some departments give us a 5 or 10-year plan ongoing, so this has been in their plan for the last 10 years. The truck will soon be 30 years old. These are just some of the things we talked about. So after a lot of discussion about the replacement of engine 511, the city pumper, and the rescue truck, it was decided it'd be best to replace with a new truck versus a used or refurbished. The town would have the warranty and not be looking at possible future cost of repairs on a used or refurbished truck. The cost savings of getting a used or refurbished versus new was not significant enough to warrant going used. The time frame was also considered, as well as possible costs in the decision making. So we were looking at possibly a couple years down the road to space the trucks out even further with the purchase of this vehicle. I believe it was explained back in May, some companies, and even again Saturday, will give us a quote that they would hold for that couple years of actually making the truck for purchase. So with that in mind, it was discussed to have the fire chief Schock to possibly look at some hard numbers for what they discussed as calling it a production truck, which is a less expensive way to go, and be able to give that information to Clerk Tina Booth. Then the clerk can look at funding options for the purchase with the current and future funds available. That's kind of what was discussed. That was a recommendation to go with new, and the time frame was looking at what kind of numbers is going to look to be, and when the clerk feels we would have those dollars. We're trying to work it, as we've talked about before, trying to take very little to no loan if possible. And with the numbers we have so far, it looks like that would all work with the money we are putting aside. So that's kind of what we talked about. And remembering, I guess it goes kind of without stated, if you're on the council, you know we have two funds we use for these purchases. That's the fire cum fund we accumulate, because it's called a cum fund, for this purpose, for large purposes. We don't get a lot of money every year in that fund, but we do put that aside for this. And then up until now, in the next 2 years, we have the safety LOIT funds that we receive. We've been saving those towards that next purchase as well. So those are the funds would be used for something like this. And not to go without saying, we also use that for police, because that fund can only be used for police and fire. So that's where the funds, where the clerk would be looking at some of those funds.
So with the safety, LOIT, and cum fire, just with those two, my understanding, Chief Shock said if we were, say, for example, to order today a new fire truck, it's going to be 2 years before it's delivered, right? We're looking at potentially 2 years. So in 2027, we're looking at about $539,000 we'll have for the truck.
We'll have that in cash.
say 539?
Mm-hmm. It's between the safety, LOIT, and the cumulative fire funds, which again have to be used for large ticket items such as that.
That would be like at the end of 2027.
Correct.
That we'd have that much.
But wasn't the cost around 750?
So the stock program that we've been looking at, most manufacturers build a pretty cookie cutter truck that will fit the need of what we're looking to replace. And the soft numbers I've gotten from most manufacturers are just over 500,000 for that kind of truck. So the numbers are really close. There was no price increase on most manufacturers this year. Normally that takes effect at the end of January, beginning of the year. I'm feeling, my opinion is that next year there will be an increase because of tariffs. I don't see any way that all these fire trucks are built without parts that aren't going to be tariff increased. I have a feeling there will be an increase next year, so I would anticipate that just over $500,000 number next year. If we continue down this road, it's going to probably go up significantly, probably 10% of those. But it could go up quite a bit, so it could be over 575 next year timeline. Not saying that to force any decisions tonight, just trying to let everybody understand what I'm seeing and hearing in the world.
I think that's kind of what
On the
he gave us a ballpark.
presumption
number
that
back
we
then.
would,
But then I think he came up with 540.
throwing out ideas, would say, okay, let's go ahead and let's get this truck delivered in 2027. Sign the contract tonight, is that an as-delivered price or is that a fluctuating price?
Depending on what manufacturers we go with, sorry to interrupt the cameras now. Here's the microphone. Depending on what manufacturers we go with, their contracts are stated differently. There's certain ones that do have it stated in the contract, whatever price is in the contract, that will be the price when the truck is delivered. There are other manufacturers that have contingencies at the bottom that says price is subject to change. And from what I've heard, because I haven't seen any of these contracts, it doesn't have a cap or a percentage of what that price may fluctuate, which scares me to the point where I would say let's not go down those paths, because I would not want to put our department or the town and this community in a financial situation that price could fluctuate drastically. That would be a bad decision on all of our parts of the estimate. So, depending on the manufacturer.
How much of the equipment on 511 that we are using now can be transferred to the new truck? If we were to get one?
Pretty much all of it. Yeah.
Hoses?
Yeah. Pretty much all the equipment would be replaced, or sorry, would be swapped. If we were to need to replace any, we have the equipment fund for the fire department. I would try to build that plan out and replace those as needed to minimize the effect of those costs and do it over a long period of time, so that way it's not covering a lot of costs all at once. Or we pursue grants and such to try to minimize those.
Have we looked at much of grants? Or?
Yes. Tony actually just filed one for firehouse subs to look at replacing or doing the fire hydrant adapter caps that we talked about when we talked about fire hydrants. Put the 5-inch storks on the large fitting to make it easier, quicker for us to hook to a hydrant and speed up that response. So we're looking at trying to get that funded through there. Also with that, replacing some of the large diameter hose that is on this particular truck. Was new as that hose is original to when the truck was built. So coming up on 30 years of that hose. I said I just tested it tonight. It all tested fine tonight. Last year, one of those sections, there's 10 sections of hose. One section failed, and that large diameter hose is roughly about $950 per 100 feet. We have 1,000 feet. So it's not a cheap thing, so we're trying to pursue grants to replace that, to prolong the life of that asset.
From a grant perspective, because we have all the DNR restoration land around and everything, they have firefighting, or at one time had firefighting grants. Have we looked at them?
Yes. Right now, DNR is one that we are looking into. From the research I've seen, most of their grants are, a $2,000 to $5,000 grant. Most of it's 100%, so they pay all of it, we have to pay none, so it's a great opportunity for us. We're just trying to find the right equipment that would fit that dollar amount, as this would buy 1 or 2 pieces of hose or 5 pieces of hose and get some of it, but it wouldn't get all of it. So it's kind of, we're going to pick and choose replacing half of something, or we're going to find something else that replaces all of it. There are other things. USDA has been a great one, but I think we ran into a little bit of an issue last year. I don't think it was funded for this year. And then I believe also the census study says that Geneva's income is higher than what it used to be. And so instead of being it was 55-45 match, it's now 80-20. So the town would have to pay a larger amount than what we used to. Now anything's better than nothing, but it's a pretty drastic change of what we were used to. So we are always pursuing opportunities for grants. The fire department, our fundraiser funds, we've been paying LexiPol, which is a grant writing service, to help us and assist us in writing grants to make sure that we have a higher probability of winning those opportunities.
Can you pay for that out of your fire?
Out of our fundraising funds. That costs annually $2,000, and that gives us 1 grant. We're trying not to break the bank, but also trying to put all of our best eggs in the best basket we can to make sure we're getting that taken care of.
Council, what do you want to do? Take a decision tonight, table it till November, does that further discussion?
We've been tabling it since May.
I like the recommendation from the committee.
Yeah, the recommendation from the committee, I would say we follow that and.
Is that a motion?
Yep.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
And this is the motion to spec out a new truck.
Yeah, I want clarification on the motion.
Yeah, the recommendation was that we have Chief get us the hard numbers. She gets us the numbers so that we can possibly order that truck if the numbers come in appropriately. We wouldn't order unless we see both numbers work. Or at least that's what I'm thinking a recommendation. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So we're following the committee's recommendation to explore funding and everything else it's going to take to.
Yes.
And if those numbers come in, yeah, that we would go ahead and approve
Okay.
ordering.
So we're not approving the purchase tonight.
No.
Now, the way I understand this motion, sorry to overspeak, Lynn, this motion is to give me the authority to go and spec what the truck would need to meet, because it's very lengthy. Most of them are about 20 pages, several lines in there that spec every nut and bolt. So that way we have a specification of what the truck needs to be. So that way we can look at finding one that fits within our means.
And then going to Tina.
And then being able to get real numbers from manufacturers, so that way Tina has actual numbers to make sure that I'm not inflating numbers and giving you wrong information, and then this isn't feasible to begin with. This is so we can go gather actual information that's true, as opposed to me just hearsay.
And have a locked-in price compared to an oh-by-the-way price.
Once we have a spec, the council can decide if we want to bid this truck out, which would then be a sealed bid, as we just did with the sewer project. But another opportunity is we can go through an HGAC buy, which all these manufacturers agree that this is the price that the government oversees and says these are reasonable prices. And if we go down that path and it's within that program and there's one that fits the need, then you don't technically have to do the bid because it already is the best price. It's just then you're choosing a manufacturer because of certain terms or agreements based on warranty or manufacturer specifications, or you've had that manufacturer as your fleet for so long that you want to keep your fleet the same, or reputable manufacturers based off of that.
But they would, from that, if I'm hearing it right, if you go through the, what was it called?
HGAC, that's what we did in 2019.
Yeah, I remember we
Or
did that.
2018 when we
So
spec'd
they
that
approve
truck.
the amount, so then we go with, I'm going to use Pierce as the example, it's the only company I can think of. They would be able to give us a locked number
Yeah.
based on this. Okay,
Once I have a spec that outlines what it is we're trying to do, they will be able to provide us hard numbers that I can present to Tina so we can make sure it's going to fit the budget. And then the council will be educated at that point and all of the answers, so there shouldn't be any guessing.
how much time does this kind of homework take? You got to put together a lot of numbers.
My recommendation, this is going to take several months. It may be challenging to have back before the December meeting, so this may carry over into next year at this time. Like I said, most truck manufacturers have what's called the cookie cutter truck that will meet the spec, but until I have the spec clearly written out, I don't want to just say, yes, this one meets it, and then we have something that's missed. I want to make sure everything is in line, so I'd rather take a little extra time to make sure I do my due diligence to make sure we serve this community correctly.
Any other questions? Not, we'll call for the question. All in favor of approving the motion to take the committee recommendations, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Thank you
have
all.
fun, have fun.
I'll get to work.
Town hall mold updates, do we have anything new on that?
That's our limit.
Yeah, our committee consists of Tina, me, Agnes, and Trent, and we have met. Our meeting we're loosely organized because we're so new that we are seeking directions even in ourselves. Two have looked at the project, 2 contractors right now, no bids yet. 2 more are going to be looking this week. Trent provided a name for me, which he was supposed to do, and so did Agnes. And there's no quotes yet because we are just having them to look at it and see what they analyze the thing. And Tina has 2 mold repair companies that have already looked at the job and given quotes, actually, right? Okay. I went to Limberlost Construction, was my last visit, and Toby and Mike made really good comments. They have experience with this building that I did not know they had. They have worked on the building, and we may not be as bad as we think we are, as we originally thought we were, because Linda's provided a picture today of this building in the old days, and that wall was an exterior wall. It even has a mural on it, doesn't it, or a letter. If you'd like to see that picture, we'll pass it around. Because I think it should be passed around for these back here for these people I'm talking to. My goal is, and I've been through this before with the county, is to make sure that when we start this process of getting down to numbers, that they're all bidding on exactly the same thing. Because Trent has drawn up some specs for stripping out the outside wall if we have to. Is that a good wording?
Yeah.
And so they all have that same information. Then that's picture of the old wall. And then Agnes said, hey, before, and then the old people have told Tina that they would like they would like them to be vacated out of this building while they're doing their repairs, and that's understandable. I'm sure that anybody that dealt with mold would understand that. So I guess we're down to, then Agnes says, before we do anything more, we are going to need permission to go somewhere with our operations till this gets done. So there's where we're at.
Any questions of Orland at this time?
You got anything to add, Tina? Trent? You got anything to add? You got anything to add with my comments? So that's where we are, then.
We know probably have to be remediated first before any of this other goes on. Is that my understanding?
Say that again?
Windows are a big, we know windows are the big problem, or one of the big problems.
Mike and Toby said they are the main problem. And I've had one other, and I've had another comment from somebody that knows a little bit about what's going on, and said he thinks the windows it might fix us. That'd be a really nice thing. We're not positive of that yet. That would change a lot of our costs. That would be just windows only.
Or at least bring it down to a more manageable level.
Yes, and I'll get the other, when I get the other two, we can't do anything without informing the council anyhow, so that's the way it should be, right? So, I guess what we, either now or sometime fairly soon, we need to find where you'd like for us to go.
Keep gathering information. Andrew, do you have any questions or
Nope.
anything at this
How
time?
much I thought.
All right, let's continue on the process and go from there. Okay. Clerk treasurer reports. Utility liens have been filed and recorded.
Yes, we filed those a couple of weeks ago. We filed approximately $8,372.76 in recorded liens for utilities. We've had one pay, right, Sally? Just the one?
Well, yeah.
Kind of. So that's been taken care of there. You all have elevator invoices in your packet. I will get the labor rate for these invoices. I asked for an itemized billing multiple times from this company, and this is what I finally got. And it still doesn't say, I mean, it says the labor, but it doesn't break it down by like hour, how many hours, how many employees, anything like that. So I'll get some additional information on that to present to council. Reference initially when this started, we were going to get a new motor. We found out we didn't need the motor. We had paid half down. So they've credited us that payment and they made an additional adjustment. So for that particular invoice, they're requesting another $3,480. The other invoice is for the soft starter. I didn't think it was replaced. Lynn said the soft starter was replaced. So this invoice would be accurate for the $7,250. Once these get paid, in addition to what we paid recently with the diagnostic, in the down payment, we're looking at like $20,000 into this elevator, repairing it. So
Where we're at right now.
is where we're at right now. I was going to ask to just have council approve these, but we need to get some additional information on the labor hours on that, so that'll probably have to be next month, unless you want to approve it contingent on the more of a breakdown on the labor, because this is still outstanding and it's just hanging out there.
Either way is fine with me.
Yeah, there's no,
It's
I
kind of
don't
hard.
think we're not paying it late. Didn't see on the bill.
Yeah, I don't believe there is. And I've been in communication with them, asking for the itemized billings, explaining what we're needing. It took multiple requests for me to get it. I'm not sure what the holdup
I
was.
mean, anybody should be able to give you an itemized bill of labor.
Correct. And I was expecting something a little bit different than what they provided for an itemized bill. So, and when I tried to call the gentleman that is our contact, he never answers. And then he answers an email a week later.
I'm with Andrew. I think he can give us the numbers for how many hours. But I don't know how we make
We
it
have much
contingent,
choice
because if we
between
don't know
that.
how many says, would we say one thing or another?
Let's table it until November, pending getting those information. And in our request, let's note to the company that we are not denying that we owe the money. We're just wanting to make sure what we're paying for, some language similar to that. So we have a little better idea of what we're actually paying for. Acceptable to council?
Yes.
Last month, I spoke to council regarding the sewage depreciation cash balance, and we had talked about doing 50% into the sewer loan, I believe, and then 25 and 25 for sewage depreciation and cash balance. Can't really do that because the sewer loan and all of the payments for the sewer is a different bank, so accounting-wise, we can't do it, so we're going to just change it and do 50% into sewage depreciation and 50% into cash balance. That way we're able to close our month out every month. We went ahead and did it last month. I'm just asking for the forgiveness because we couldn't have closed the month unless we did it. Reference fuel for the fire department. I've asked that the fire department start using the gas tank at the town barn for the trucks that require gas. You use the co-op right now for diesel, right? For now. Prior to this, they used the former Marathon station. It's now the Geneva Food Mart. I can't get a W-9 from them, and I'm not willing to have to pay them without a W-9. They need to provide it. I've asked multiple times verbally and in writing. So until they can do that, I've asked them to go to the town barn. On-duty police officers can let them in after hours. I don't know why there would be an issue not to allow them to have a key to get in after hours, such as the police department. I don't know what the history is with that, but that's what I've asked them to do going forward.
Mark, what's your feelings on that?
Perfectly fine with that as a solution moving forward, to be honest with you. I know in the past there has been some issues with that fuel tank at the town barn, and I was happy, and I know Gabe and John Patch, my predecessors as the chief, were happy to report we didn't have access to it, so you can't blame it on us. Unfortunately, this would change that story. But I trust our town employees, and I trust our members of our fire department. That won't be a problem moving forward. But I think this will simplify things, and as long as on-duty police officers are always available, so we can get in at night, that would be appreciated. Otherwise, we can wait till the next morning, but sometimes we don't like to wait because if we're all busy and don't get it done the next day, it creates problems for us.
And we want to keep them tanks topped off too.
Yeah, it just sets us up for success when we do have a call, so I prefer it to be that way. So as far as the gasoline, as long as the town employees are fine with that, and Tina's actually provided me some data that it's actually going to be cheaper per gallon because the fuel cost is cheaper when we buy in bulk through that tank. And not knowing, just to kind of piggyback on the same conversation, diesel we are getting from the co-op here, but I just seen that has potentially sold last Thursday.
Peterson Grain.
To Peterson Grain.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to any representatives from them, nor do I know that they've reached out to the town. I do not know if that fuel tank will still be available. So it seems like this might be a good transition to just move all the fire department's fuel sources to the same tank as the town, as long as Trent doesn't think that we'll encumber too much through the tanks, because I don't know how large they are.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Along with that, they come and top them off every week, so they're coming very consistently.
Yeah, at the
Those
most,
keep them full, so.
yeah, at the most diesel, we usually see 10 to 20 gallons a month. It's usually not too bad. If we have a large fire, obviously it's going to be a lot larger for that month. Because if we're coming every week, I wouldn't think it would be a huge issue. Because it sounds like we'd get a better fuel rate possibly going that way as well.
A question.
Yes.
How is it logged now for usage? Does everybody just write it down, or?
Yeah, we have log sheets down there in the box that the gas and diesel both are separated, and Dwayne takes them every month and puts them in.
So it's just on an honor system of what we're billing. I mean, there's no cameras or anything down there, right?
Yeah, there's a camera down there. I don't know where it goes. I don't know who sees it, but there's a camera that's pointed at them. I don't know. I said, I don't know where it goes. You stick them up here, but I don't know where it goes anymore.
I would actually like to have a conversation with Peterson Grain on if they are no longer wishing to use that fuel tank. There is a control system that I think may be advantageous. I haven't talked to Trent about this. I have talked to Dwayne that, in my opinion, could be worthwhile for the town to pursue. It is a keyed system. Each key has a certain lock. and you have to present that key and lock and turn it on to get the fuel pump to activate, and then it logs the gallons for us per that key. So then at the end of the month, the current fuel company, they just send us a report, and Tina or Bill or Sally, I don't know if I've ever had the kind of questions with you, but they know that A1 is this truck and A10 is this truck. So then the council members and Tina can see per gallon per month. So it makes it a little easier to tie together as opposed to somebody's handwriting may not be legible as good or as well as
Is what's there, what you're using, what they have now, is it in good condition?
Yeah. I think if they have no longer a use for it or need for it, it may be worthwhile to see if they would be willing to cut us a deal. But I need to see what their full intent is. If they continue to use it,
You know anybody at Peterson Gray?
I do not.
I do. Can I make that call for you?
Yeah, if you know somebody, please go
I
ahead.
do.
Yeah. And if you want to call me and I can explain to them what it is we're using.
I'll talk to you after our meeting.
Sounds good.
Quick, yes.
The council has no other,
We've got a question.
yes,
Another thing to look at, the city of Geneva, what we use, every vehicle has a key fob, which allows us to access the pump. And then that, side the individual vehicles, and you got to put in the odometer reading when you first get it, and then it tracks your gallons, how much you vehicle.
So that system goes one step further and makes you input your miles on the vehicle, so it's tracking the miles and the gallons.
our log system right now doesn't have the mileage.
We have.
Yeah, everything,
Write down
the
miles.
only thing we do down there now is everything's written on a piece of paper, so you can put the date, which vehicle it was, the gallons, the mileage, and who filled it up.
Okay. Let's look at that system and do that. I think it's gonna save us a little money, but every little bit helps.
I'm a big advocate on making things easy and simple, as clerical errors can happen when we're writing things on paper, but obviously it all comes with a cost. So.
And it makes the bookkeeping easy.
Okay,
Veterans breakfast?
so the Veterans Breakfast that I'm doing is Saturday, November 8th from 7 to 10. Veterans eat for free. It's free will donation for everyone else. I have some folks that are going to take on the costs of the food. So anything that I get is 100% going to the Veterans Banner project that I'm doing, which I'm currently 88% to goal with donations and a grant. And 19 of my 25 spots are filled.
It's
So,
going really well.
and I've got till the end of the month. As of right now, if we don't go over 25, there's a few families that have 2 family members, which if I have more than 25, I'm gonna have to limit it to 1 family member just to be fair. So as of right now, we've not hit the 25 mark. And that's all for the Veterans Breakfast and banners. Next is just the bank recon and accounts payable that needs to be approved.
Approval of September 25 bank recon?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Approval of September 2025 accounts payable vouchers?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
If there are any questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any town attorney comments or updates?
Nothing we haven't already covered.
Council nuisance committee meetings, we had a meeting today. I need to get with you on a couple of questions. I'll call you later this week. Talk to you about that.
Not tomorrow.
And we have 2 people that have just been, I can't say the word I want to use.
Why, because you've been in the name too long?
Non-compliant.
Non-compliance is the correct word. The one I want to use, I can't use.
It's a Navy word, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have to take some legal action of some kind on them. One of them is going to involve 2 different things, a condemned building and failure to do any cleanup or substantial cleanup. The other one's just been dragging their feet forever. We've got how many different returned certified cards not deliverable or other comments like that where they haven't taken them. One of them, we actually handed the person the invoice in their hand, and we have not heard anything back from them on that.
So what do you need?
I'm ready to play hardball.
Well, do you need his input?
I need a little bit of guidance from Nick on.
Okay, before we do the hardball thing.
But it's all part of the same
Okay.
revolution. So,
Okay.
and then there's one that I think is going to need council guidance on which way we want to go on that. And I'm not ready to present that one yet tonight. So, but that's where we're at on the nuisance committee stuff. Right now, our next scheduled meeting is November 11th, which is Veterans Day. Council, I would like to change that day, either on the preceding Monday or the following Wednesday. I don't want to delete it or detain it any longer than that, which would be council's preference.
November 10th, maybe, is what you're saying, preceding Monday?
Yeah, November 10th or the 13th, to get the right.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, get the right month. November 10th, Monday, or Wednesday, November 12th.
It works for me.
10th?
Either way.
Monday the 10th?
Good either way.
Monday the 10th? Okay. We'll change that meeting till Monday, November 10th. Have the appropriate advertising. That will also change the date for the nuisance committee to that morning. Any other thing? If not, there being no further business coming before the board, we are adjourned.